Poppies by Jane Weir explores the emotional impact of war on those left behind, particularly the perspective of a mother whose son has gone off to war. Unlike many war poems that focus on the battlefield, Poppies shifts the focus to personal grief, loss, and memory. The poem is set against the backdrop of Armistice Sunday, reinforcing the theme of remembrance and the lasting effects of war on families. The mother's emotions shift from pride to sorrow as she recalls moments with her son before he left, showing how war creates emotional wounds that remain long after the conflict itself. Weir uses strong imagery to emphasize the mother's grief. The poppies themselves, traditionally associated with remembrance, symbolize both death and resilience. The phrase "spasms of paper red," disrupting a blockade of yellow bias, suggests both physical pain and the overwhelming emotions the mother experiences as she prepares herself for her son's departure. The reference to crimped petals hints at the fragility of life, reinforcing the theme of loss. Textiles and domestic imagery, such as tucks, darts, pleats, reflect the mother's nurturing role, contrasting with the brutality of war. This contrast between the personal and the political highlights the poem's focus on the unseen cost of conflict. The poem also explores the idea of memory and longing. The mother recalls past moments with her son, such as smoothing down his collar and releasing him like a songbird from its cage. This simile suggests both freedom and vulnerability, reflecting a mother's mixed emotions of pride and fear. The idea of flight reappears later, as she describes a single dove, linking to the themes of peace and mourning. The mother's grief is intensified by the sensory memories of her son, such as your playground voice catching on the wind. The use of enjambment creates a flowing, stream of consciousness effect, mimicking the uncontrollable nature of grief and memory. Structurally, the poem lacks a rigid form, reflecting the mother's unstable emotions. The mixture of long and short sentences reflects her struggle to contain her feelings. Use of caesura, such as "I was brave, as I walked with you, to the front door," forces pauses that mirror the weight of her emotions. The poem moves between past and present, reinforcing how memories blur with reality when dealing with loss. The absence of a clear resolution at the end leaves the reader with a sense of lingering grief, mirroring the mother's inability to move on. Poppies presents a deeply personal response to war, showing how grief manifests in everyday life. It highlights how war extends beyond the battlefield, affecting individuals long after the fighting ends. Weir's Poppies is a moving exploration of love, loss, and memory. By focusing on a mother's perspective, the poem challenges traditional representations of war and highlights the emotional scars left behind. The poem ultimately suggests that war is not just about those who fight but also about those who wait, grieve, and remember.